Okay, this is a little do-it-yourself thing that I did. I want to show you on the LTZ that Smite owns that I ride quite frequently. There is a cam chain tensioner. It's supposed to be automatic. I was riding it the other day. I noticed there's a little bit of noise. So I did a little research online, found out that the DRZs, LTZs, even some of the GSXRs and stuff are known for this. These automatic cam chain adjusters or tensioners, whatever you want to call them, they go bad. There's two things that they say about them. If this is extended all the way, you need to replace the cam chain. I've read other reviews on forums where guys put the manual ones in and lasted them 2-3 years before they had to change the cam chain because it was just a little bit out of adjustment. So basically this thing bolts into the motor like that, and you have this with a spring that goes in the back and it screws in. This is coming out the other end, and as the chain gets loose, the spring pushes this out, and when it's pushing it out, this little clip is in there holding it, and it ratchets it out so you can't, so it won't go back in, and then you got a little pin. Well, when I took it out, this was a little bent up, so I couldn't get it out, so I actually had to cut it and slide it through the other end. But I pressed the pin out with the vise. I just took a vise and a socket, put the socket on one end, and took a little Torx bit and put it at the other end and pressed this out so I could get all these pieces out. So I was just left with this. So I have just this. Now this thing is only threaded as far as this is. It's not threaded any more than that. So I thought to myself, these other ones that I see online, they're charging them $59, $49 to $59, depending on what one you need. And basically it looks just like this, except it doesn't have the slot. It's all solid, and it's a bolt that just goes straight through. The bolt goes straight through it, and you have a nut that locks it down. So I drilled this out and tapped it to 7/16 with a tap. And if you don't know how to do that, don't try this. If you know how to do it, it's going to save you a lot of money, because I bought this bolt, nut, and washer for 68 cents at the local hardware store. And this screws right into this, and now it's just like the manual one. It's exactly, if you look online and see the manual ones, you'll see that this thing is pretty much like it. Maybe the bolt's a little bit different, but this, all this does is press in on the inside, and there's an actual guide in there that runs up on the chain. So this isn't actually touching the chain. This is touching a flat guide that's pushing on the chain, and you only have these finger tight anyhow, so this is going to work perfect. See, I can turn that in or out where I need it to be to take the noise out of the chain. And then I'll just take this nut, I put a rubber O-ring on there and a washer, so that way hopefully it doesn't leak oil out. Some say they do, some say they don't. I'll be able to tighten that right down, and that's what the way she'll set. And then I can adjust it the way I need it to be. And I already reviewed how to adjust them and everything. But anytime you're doing anything like this, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Just because somebody else did it doesn't mean you're going to do it. This thing has to be straight through. Not only that, is any metal, like from me tapping it, the metal that comes off, any metal has to be gotten rid of, because you don't want that metal in your motor. So what I did is, and what I will do before I put it back in, is I washed this thing off with soap and water, and I blew it off with an air hose. But I'm basically going to be able to take this, and when I put it in the machine, I'm going to be able to adjust it until the noise is gone, and I'm going to be able to crank that down, and that's going to hold that in place so it doesn't move. And like I said, some people say that they work good, some people say they don't. But for 68 cents, it's definitely worth a try for me to see if this is going to work. And this is a do-it-yourself, but you do it at your own risk. I am not responsible if you mess up your four-wheeler. But if you know what you're doing and you can tap stuff out, instead of spending $60 for one of these things, you can just do it this way. So I'm going to put it in the quad. And then I'm going to show you where it goes and everything, and show you how it worked out for me. And hopefully it does. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's the same thing. So I will turn the camera back on once I get it in the four-wheeler. Okay, so Got the four-wheeler out, and I wanted to show you where this goes. You can see it says up. That's not going to make a whole lot of difference because we got the parts out, but if you could see that, or it goes right there on the machine. The right-hand side, it goes right there. Now this sits back in there, but I moved that out so I could get to it. I actually moved this out of the way so I can get in there. But that's where that's going to go. We're going to slide that right in there. Again, you want to make sure there's no dirt, no grindings, no filings, no nothing on this when you put it back in. And then make sure it says up. And that's going to slide right in here like that. Now I'm going to bolt that down. And then put the bolt in it. And then I will turn it back on. And I'll show you what it does. Okay, I got it all put back together. You can see it's all back together there. There's my nut, my bolts in there. And one thing I want to mention before we do all this is do not start the four-wheeler with that out. Don't have the bolt out, don't have this out without the four-wheeler running, because you could risk the time or the cam chain jumping, and which would throw your timing off, and then you got to pull the whole thing apart. But what you're going to do is you're going to just take this and screw this in until you start to feel some tension on it, and then back it off a little bit so you can. Okay, so now we're going to start the four-wheeler. You can hear it clicking. Hear that clicking noise? That's the cam chain in there. We're going to turn that. Look at that. It's gone. Almost gone. You just want to turn it until you don't hear it anymore. Then you're going to turn the nut down and tighten it down. You don't want it too tight, because if you have it too tight, then it's going to be pushing too much. But you can hear now it ain't even making that clicking noise. Where before, that's what it sounded like before. That was the noise it was making. So we're going to just take this, turn it in until we don't hear it no more. And you're only turning it a little bit. So you can hear it, there's just a little bit right there. And there it's going. Then I'll take that and tighten that down. So that's how you do it. The only thing I haven't figured out is where I'm going to relocate the air oil breather box. I will figure it out. I just don't know where right now. I might just get new hoses and run them back, or see if I even need it. I might just plug the hoses. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that, but as you can see, 68 cents made a world of difference. It sounds good. It's not clicking anymore. So there we have it. Okay, relocation of the black breather is right here. I ran the top line because it's a little shorter around there. You can see how it bends right in there real nice. Fits there. The top one from the top goes, it's a little bent. I think it'll be alright though. I mean, once it, puts a little pressure on it. And then I'm going to just buy one little piece of hose to go from there right down to the air cleaner part. Just loop it around, probably just a foot, and that should be good. And once I get that hooked on, that box ain't gonna go anywhere. The seat fits on, I already tested it, so that's how you do her. This is in, everything looks good. And you can hear it's not that loud ticking anymore, so pretty good.